This video is a complete summary of all canon subject matter towards the series in question. It contains spoilers and details for numerous aspects to the story and its events, and is not meant to serve as a replacement to experiencing any of the pieces of media mentioned. Please support the official releases of the developers and their entries in the franchise. Ys was known as a country of order and prosperity. It was located on an island just off the northwest coast of Europa in the Atlas Ocean. It was a well-off nation in its own right, but that thriving nature exploded with the arrival of two Eldeen winged ones, known as Rhea and Fina. The two arrived after crossing the ocean from Atlas, and due to their appearance and mystical belongings, the island nation worshipped these two as goddesses. The most valuable of items brought over by them from the Atlas continent was an artifact known as the Black Pearl. The people learned of its power to amplify other magical objects, while never diminishing its own magical force. Through the Pearl, the two goddesses and their retainers known as the Six Priests, the nation of Ys, prospered, and likely for a time was the most thriving land on Earth. The Six Priests were the most magically attuned of the humans living on Ys, but they had never seen anything like what the goddesses brought. The Black Pearl could be controlled in great effect by those made of white Emelas, namely Eldeen like Rhea and Fina. The original Six Priests would have their descendants become the future priests, establishing a house dynasty of sorts for priest succession, where each priest governed a specific aspect and magic of the world around them. House Hadal governed over earth, House Tova governed over power, House Dabi governed over light, House Mesa governed over time, House Gemma governed over wisdom, and House Fact governed over spirit. Through the Black Pearl, residents of Ys could conduct miracles at will. The most well-known of these was turning silver ore into a metal called Claria. Claria was stronger mystically and malleable, perfect for construction, weapons, and overall value. It made Ys likely the most wealthy nation in the world at one point, though they wouldn't know it, as the nation was incredibly isolated on its island from the rest of the world. While on Ys, the goddesses planted twin rhoda trees near one another on the island to bless the land and provide the goddesses with the magical wisdom and companionship that the trees were known for. This lasted for nearly a century, when unfortunately some unseen consequences arose. The overusage of the Black Pearl's magic had gone unchecked for too long, especially given that its power was now being used by those other than the Eldeen. Over time, the Black Pearl's magic started to bleed demonic essence around it. Its overusage by those not of white Emelas, tapping into its forces, made its protection against dark magic weak. These were the perfect conditions for one of the priests, Kane Fact, to make his move. Kane was obsessed with the Black Pearl, and sought to use its power for himself, to control energy that would allow him to surpass his mortal humanity and approach something akin to godhood. The current generation of Ys features strong warriors and magic casters. Among them is Toll Fact, captain of the Holy Knights and one of those sworn to protect the goddesses. He was once the heir to the priesthood of House Fact, but gave up the title to his brother Hugo once he realized that Hugo's talent for magic was much stronger than his. He served under Saul Tova, son of the priest Tova and commander of the Holy Knights. He was friends with fellow captain Galleon and their subordinates Cecilia and Ramona. Things were a bit awkward between Toll and his father Kane after forfeiting the right to his priesthood. Toll spends much of his time with his squadron, something he doesn't mind as he's found purpose with them, though there are other reasons as well. As a guardian of the goddesses, he spends much of his time at the goddess's home, Solomon Shrine, and he's become rather smitten with goddess Rhea as of late. Toll's also good friends with some of the magic casters of Ys, Father Shion, High Priest of Solomon Shrine, outranked only by the 6 priests, and Cadena, a master sorceress. Apparently, they've been committed to researching Ys's Claria ore as of late. Cadena is also Hugo's superior, and has been witness to Hugo's rapid growth as a sorcerer. It's hard for Toll not to hide the visible pride he has for his brother. Like most others of Ys, Toll still perceives the goddesses as just that, divine beings. When they first met, the twins had retracted their wings and Toll had made a slightly inconsiderate inquiry asking where the goddesses were when they were right in front of him. He's been a bit embarrassed since and tries to make up for it by being a faithful servant and bodyguard to the two. In reality, though, the goddesses would love a bit more familiarity from the people they see most often. They've become easy friends with Commander Saul Tova's daughter, Unica, as a result. She sneaks into the palace to play with the goddesses and sees them as nothing more than close friends, which in some ways makes Unica value them as greater than divinity. In the meantime, the goddesses insist. In their presence, Toll is their guest, not their servant. They'll treat him as such. As the days go by, Fina meets with Toll. She's worried about her sister. Rhea has been pushing herself far too hard. Apparently, the veins of Claria ore in the East Mine have all been sealed off, and it was done by Rhea's hands alone, even after being offered help by the priests and Fina. Toll offers to talk to Rhea. Toll echoes the worry her friends have for Rhea's well-being, and he asks her to please be careful and know her limits, which Rhea assures she isn't even close to reaching. She's wondering if Toll is curious as to why the mines were closed, but Toll assures her that he and the rest of Ys trust the goddesses and priests to know what they are doing. Toll personally assures Rhea that he's her friend and can trust him when she feels the time is right, to inform him of her plans. Rhea divulges the pressure she and her sister feels, the responsibility of their power, and how many people it can affect. Toll would like to reassure her that no one expects the two of them to be perfect. Please, admit your faults and embrace the help from your friends who can complete you. Rhea appreciates the advice and promises Toll he'll be the first she tells of Fina and Rhea's plans. Before leaving, Toll offers a gift to Rhea, a harmonica made of Clarion ore, which Rhea receives happily and gratefully. While all this is taking place, the Darklings, or the Clan of Darkness, the descendants of those of Atlas who destroyed the Ark and fled, were patrolling Europa. A good portion of this group decided to continue to search for remaining Eldeen artifacts to achieve their goals and abuse their power. As such, the legendary Eldeen Black Pearl would absolutely be of interest to this group, if they had any idea where to locate it. Fortunately for them, this is when Kane decided to make his move. The priest was able to contact Dales, leader of the Darklings, and proposed that the two work together to dethrone the goddesses and acquire the near-limitless power of the Black Pearl. Using the dark essence and demonic energy of the Pearl, Kane was able to spawn demonkind to the island. Then the plan would be for Dales to arrive with his high officers within the Darklings and take leadership of the army of demons, commanding their assault on Ys. Then capture the goddesses and use their white Emelas wings to take control of the Pearl's full power. The demons' power was overwhelming and successful. They were granted enhanced strength from the Black Pearl, as well as the Claria-based weapons which held the Pearl's power within them. While the island was being swarmed, the goddesses realized that something must be done to protect the people for an evacuation, but the coastlines were blocked by the demons. Thus, the goddesses urged the people to retreat to the area in and around the Shrine of Solomon. The goddesses planned to perform a ritual using the Black Pearl that will raise the shrine and its surrounding land to the sky, away from the demons. The night before the ritual, Toll meets with Rhea. They've grown incredibly close over the years, and the feelings they have for each other are clear. Rhea is confident in her and Fina's abilities to conduct the ritual, and bids Toll goodnight. Little does she know, this is goodbye for Toll. He and Commander Saul plan on leading a secret attack on the demons, to spur enough confusion amongst the ranks to allow for the ritual to be conducted safely in the morning. Though this means that they'll be left behind on the surface afterward. It's likely to mean certain death for the two, but Toll is adamant on joining the commander in the mission, to ensure a future for the rest of Ys. The ritual is conducted, and thanks to the brave efforts of the commander and Toll, the Shrine of Solomon is raised into the sky, with the priests, the goddesses, and the rest of Ys on board, with no one knowing of Saul and Toll's sacrifice until they were already away from the demons. Kane lied in wait among those in Ys. Having Dallas led the invasion helped him avoid suspicion, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, Dallas was busy. Ys wasn't lost, just temporarily unreachable. In order to bring Ys back to the surface, Dallas would need to conduct a ritual of his own. This began with the construction of a massive tower on the surface, known at the time as the Devil's Tower. It was built to allow Dallas to be close enough to the heavens for him to perform a ritual that would drag Ys down to the surface once more. Months later, the tower is completed, and the goddesses decide to venture to the surface with the Black Pearl. They feel that the plans made by the demons were too perfect, and they believe some outside force to be involved. But how did this force know where the pearl was, and how and when to strike? A mole is suspected, and the goddesses decide to only trust themselves as they return to the surface, with a plan to seal the demonic essence away. On the surface, the two reflect on their actions that led Ys to become what it is now, and decide to continue forward and see it to the end. Suddenly, Rhea senses something nearby. Tempered Claria? But it should all be sealed away. They search for the aura and find a broken Clarion sword. There is no doubt in Rhea's mind. It's Toll's. They mourn for a moment and consider the battles that must have been fought to leave a Clarion sword in this state, when suddenly it starts to glow, and the sword's essence speaks out to Rhea, telling her its owner is still alive. Reinvigorated with hope, and a possibility for a future for all of Ys, they set off towards the Devil's Tower, where the fates of all involved intertwine. It wasn't long before the goddess's absence was made apparent on Solomon Shrine. As a result, the 6 priests decided to put together a search party made of the best knights and sorcerers Ys had to offer. Among them, Unikatova, daughter of Sol and granddaughter to a current priest of Ys. Unlike her lineage, she cannot seem to use magic but doesn't want to be deterred. She will become a knight regardless, and keep the goddesses from harm. She has grown to become very close friends with the goddesses, and practically begged Galleon, now acting commander of the Royal Knights, to let her join the search effort. Also among them was Hugo Fact, son of priest Kane Fact, brother of Toll, and a gifted magician. The current heir to the priest Fact name, Hugo, wishes to find the goddesses as well, but is also given a secret mission by his father to carry out while on the surface. Dallas and his high officials are told in advance by Kane that the search party plans on heading to the surface. On their descent by way of holy light, Dallas casts a spell from the top of the Devil's Tower, shattering the light, causing its inhabitants to disperse across the land below. There are 12 total members in the search party, the aforementioned Unikatova and Hugo Fact, Father Shion and his acolytes Eolia and Dino, the group of Holy Knights Galleon, Cecilia, Ramona, and a new recruit Roy, as well as the sorcerers Cadena, Miusha, and Rico Gemma, heir to the priest Gemma line. At the Devil's Tower, Dallas is joined by his second-in-command, Demon Forge Master, and Master Sorceress, Zava, as well as the sibling Darkling warriors Kishkarl and Epona. In the months prior, this group encountered the courageous Saul and Toll, who, while exhausted, still had the upper hand against the demonic forces. This changed when the Darkling officers started to intervene personally. Saul was strong enough to take on any demon, but when Kishkarl, a fierce warrior Darkling with demonic essence maximizing his potential, dueled a fatigued and worn Saul, the match was clear. Saul gave his last efforts, But it was not enough, and Kishkarl fell the commander of the Holy Knights. Toll, on the other hand, was purposefully left alive. Dallas had received orders from Kane to allow Toll to join their ranks as long as he accepted a piece of demonic essence in order to test its power when within someone of the incredibly strong Fact lineage. Toll accepts this power, swearing allegiance to Dallas and the Darklings in exchange for the goddess's freedom after they finish using the Black Pearl for their nefarious deeds. A common trait among those that embraced demonic essence was their hair. Once they accepted a fragment of demon power, their hair would be turned a whitish silver to reflect their new state. Toll was no exception, as his blondish-hued hair turned the trademark white. In actuality, Toll plans to get close enough to the Pearl through his trust with the Darklings to destroy it, hopefully ending this nightmare once and for all. Dallas reminds his subordinates that the search party is merely dispersed and will soon regroup and enter the tower. And the goddesses have already entered the massive structure. Their mission is to capture the goddesses, retrieve the Black Pearl, and take care of any other do-gooders that might stand in their way. They spread out throughout the tower, with Toll starting at the bottom and making his way up on his search for the goddesses. Along the way, he finds an artifact of Ys, the cerulean flabellum, and decides there isn't any harm in taking it. Likely an artifact made of blue emelas, with the abilities of wind at its disposal. Toll becomes blocked by a trap, made to stop and warp away non-demons. He'll need to channel more of his demonic energy to get by this passage. Thanks to some guidance from the rota trees, the search party is able to regroup at the base of the Devil's Tower, where they reaffirm their mission to find the goddesses, unaware of the threat of the Darklings and all the other machinations that lie waiting above them. On his search, he meets one of the legendary Rue, residents of the nearby rota trees, who have been slightly altered due to the exposure by the demonic essence of the land. They are still largely the same, but now sport distinctive horns on their head that can vary greatly in their specific shape and size. Finally, Toll meets the first member of the search party within the tower, commander of the Holy Knights, subordinate of Saul Tova, and friend of Toll, the warrior Galleon. He doesn't recognize Toll at first, but it's not long before Galleon is ecstatic to see his friend. He asks about Saul and what has happened since the rising of the shrine. Toll is not eager to catch up, and details his shift in allegiance. He convinces Galleon that after being captured by the Darklings, the offer of the strength of demonic power was too great to pass up, and joined the Dark Forces. He plans to capture the goddesses, and has promised their safety after the Black Pearl's retrieval, though there might not be much of them left afterward. Galleon is disgusted, and they fight. With the demonic speed now within Toll, he is easily able to beat the commander, and Galleon retreats, though not without a final taunt that he does not believe that Toll is truly lost. Afterwards, Toll finally absorbs enough demonic essence from killing other demons to activate his demonic boost mode. This will allow him to resist the demonic trap from earlier long enough to break through. Immediately afterward, he meets Unica Tova. He informs her that her father died on the surface in a duel with a Darkling. When asked if it was Toll, Toll does not deny it, and Unica lashes out in anger. Toll dodges and knocks her out to be found by her search party companions. Further up, Toll battles one of the 6 great demon beasts that besieged Ys, and were a key factor in its takeover. Toll could always use more demonic essence to absorb. He personally likes messing with Zava and her creations, and it's quite simply in the way. The gangly beast, Velegundr, is vanquished by the knight, and Toll continues his ascent in search of the goddesses. Not before running into Epona, who informs him that someone in the search party looks an awful lot like Toll. Are they siblings? Toll denies the notion as they continue, with Toll knowing exactly who she's talking about. Toll's suspicions are confirmed when further up the tower he is found by his brother Hugo. Hugo had heard from Galleon of Toll's survival and betrayal, but didn't want to believe it. Hugo informs Toll that Kane's secret mission given to Hugo was to find the traitor who allowed Ys to fall into chaos, and now believes that Toll is that betrayer. Toll senses the hesitation in his brother, however. He knows Hugo does not want to go through with this, After some taunting, though, Hugo denounces his relationship to Toll and attacks. The two fight with Toll overwhelming the young sorcerer. Toll doesn't give his brother a clear answer when asked about his betrayal, and before long, Hugo's sorcerer friends, Cadena and Musha, arrive, and are able to take the injured Hugo back to safety. Kishkarl arrives, and questions why Toll didn't finish them off, and Toll is able to convince him that it was merely an unnecessary obstacle, preventing him from finding the goddesses that didn't deserve the effort. Within this flooded area of the tower, Toll uncovers another artifact of Ys, this one made of the lightning-powered gold Emelas, the Levin-Strike Warhammer. Further up, Toll challenged another great demon that besieged Ys, Titular. Defeating this demon grants Toll access further up the tower, into floors where fire and lava are prevalent. Within this region, Toll finally discovers one of the goddesses. The radiant Fina is relieved to see that her old friend Toll is alright, though she admits that she has already pieced together that Toll must have taken on some demonic power for his appearance to change as it has. Toll confirms that he is with the Darklings, and asserts that the Black Pearl must be with Rhea, seeing it's not with her sister at the moment. Just as Toll asks her to come quietly, the sorceress Zava appears, and says that preparations for the ritual to drag Ys down are complete. All they need is the Black Pearl. Zava is eager to begin interrogating Fina for the location of her sister and the Pearl, when suddenly Shion, head priest of Solomon's Shrine and leader of the search party, arrives on the scene. A lawful priest of magical prowess, who, given the stories from the rest of the party, decided it was time to make a formal appearance, and is glad he did. It becomes clear that Shion is going to have to use force in order to rescue Lady Fina, and Toll likewise if he is to keep her in the Darklings' clutches. The two do battle. One of Ys's strongest knights, now with demonic power, and a powerful sorcerer, only exceeded by the 6 priests of Ys themselves. Toll is able to emerge victorious, though admits his demonic abilities were what tipped the scales in his favor. Shion reiterates that he cannot allow the goddess to be taken, and Zava orders Toll to finish the priest off. Reluctantly, Toll is about to do the deed, before knocked back by the resistance of the warrior half of the search party. They demand answers for Toll's actions, but without any hesitation, Zava warps Toll and Fina away up to Rado's Annex. Rado's Annex is a small structure connected to the tower via a sky bridge about 2/3 the way up. Dallas interrogates Fina, and Toll admits that Rhea is the sort to continue onward even knowing her sister is imprisoned and wouldn't trade the pearl for her sister. They're both too determined in their plans. Here is where Fina is left to be trapped behind a barrier of intense magic, as well as a demonic door called the Devil's Gaze that only opens to demonkind. Fina now understands just who these people are. The Darklings, the descendants of those from Atlas who activated the Ark all those years ago. Before Toll leaves Fina, she gives him Rhea's silver harmonica, the same one that Toll gifted her in what feels like a lifetime ago. She asks him to give it to her since she dropped it as they were heading toward the tower. Toll is annoyed by Fina's frankness, asks why she doesn't condemn him for his actions. Fina merely states that she believes Toll and trusts who he is. On his way out, Kishkarl confronts Toll, saying he is impressed by Toll's ability to suppress the demonic force inside him without losing his sanity, and eagerly awaits Toll to turn into a worthy challenger to him as a warrior. He also doesn't believe that he's with the Darklings in the slightest, but allows him to stay with them for now. Toll decides to warp back to where he found Fina, and continue heading upward to ensure he searches every inch of the tower for the Pearl and Rhea. While exploring deeper into the fiery region of the tower, he uncovers another artifact, this time of red Emelas, the Crimson Lotus Blade. But this one is different. This was a weapon familiar to Toll. It was the favored weapon of his friend, Saul Tova. He doesn't see himself fit to wield the weapon and leaves it be. However, as he tries to leave, a voice speaks from the sword, and a spirit rises. The specter of Saul reveals himself and greets Toll. Toll is taken aback, and instantly drops to a knee and bows in shame. Toll requests that Saul relieve him of his oath as a holy knight, as he has begun heading down this malicious path. Saul says that he has no power to do so, not when he is not of this world any longer. He does, however, give the youth his sword. Saul doesn't care about the path that Toll has chosen. He only asks that Toll shapes this path, and not the other way around. Toll swallows his pride and keeps moving. It isn't long before Toll arrives at the infamous Devil's Corridor, a floor of the tower, designed to echo a melody that would drain the soul of the listener, stopping them in their tracks before long. He sees that this fate had already claimed a victim in Unica, who lies unconscious, barely clinging to life on the ground. Toll moves Unica out of the corridor so she can recover. He also leaves her the Crimson Lotus Blade. It was her father's sword, and he feels like she deserves its power more than him anyway. Now, to get through the corridor, Toll is able to maintain his demonic form long enough to make it through the corridor. Continuing onward, Toll makes it to the end of the fiery portion of the tower, and faces off against another legendary demon, the murderous construct, Galaldi. The two do battle, and once again Toll emerges victorious. As he is leaving the chamber, however, Unica catches up to him. She thanks Toll for saving her, and for giving Unica her father's sword. She then says that she now knows the true killer of her father was Kishkarl, and she apologizes for assuming it was Toll. Toll says she should still hold contempt for him, for not doing enough to protect Saul when he died. Nevertheless, he inquires as to how Unica made it through the Devil's Corridor unscathed. Cadena arrives to tell that Hugo was able to break some supports of the tower, to allow air to pass and disrupt the melody that caused the hallway to be so treacherous. Cadena sees that Toll is making a smiling face that he always shows when he's proud of his brother, which gives her some relief. They leave without a fight, saying they simply wanted to make a formal greeting and thank him for saving Unica. As they leave, Cadena says once again that she isn't buying this act that Toll is putting on. Toll proceeds to an arid and sandy portion of the Devil's Tower. Within this area, he is ambushed by some skeletal demons that emerge from the sand. He disposes of them quickly, but is alarmed to see that these undead creatures quickly revive themselves. Suddenly, a ring of a distant bell is heard, and the creatures are permanently destroyed. Toll turns to see the source of the bell, and sees who he's been searching for, his lover Rhea, with the Black Pearl no less. They exchange brief and blunt greetings. Afterward, Rhea wants to make clear how much she and her sister grieved for Saul and Toll's apparent sacrifice. They didn't know Toll had done so until they were already in the sky, and she was worried that their friendship meant nothing if he left without saying goodbye. Without thinking, Toll refuses, saying that he did so because he cares about their friendship. Rhea drops her act and says she was fibbing about not knowing where they were, and just wanted Toll's earnest reaction. Toll is embarrassed and taken aback, but he does remind Rhea that he has betrayed Ys and captured Fina. Rhea reveals that she knows Toll's plan, to get close enough to the demonic essence cast by Dallas to destroy it, likely at the cost of his life. Rhea says this will not work, however, as the essence will remain if the Black Pearl still exists, and the pearl cannot be destroyed so easily. One would essentially need to become one with the demonic essence to become powerful enough to destroy the artifact. But then, since the essence comes from and is linked to the pearl, you would be essentially killing yourself in the process. Toll shows he's more than capable of maintaining his demon form, but Rhea pleads with Toll not to do this, and retorts with a plea of his own. How did the goddesses plan on dealing with this mess then? If Toll can't do what he set out to, what do the goddesses have in mind? Rhea will not reveal her plan yet, and leaves vowing to cure Ys of its demonic curse. She gives Toll the chimes that were used to put the undead to rest. Suddenly a thought occurs. He can talk to Fina about their plan at Rado's Annex, which Toll is only a couple floors away from. With new motive, he continues up the tower, without Rhea. Toll arrives at Rado's Annex where he meets up with Epona, who's been placed on guard duty. Apparently, the search party is starting to make it farther up the tower. Toll tries to go see Fina and needs to activate his demonic form before heading beyond the Devil's Gaze door. Fina is relieved that Toll let Rhea escape capture, but Toll wants to ask about their plans and why they came down here alone. Fina is hesitant, but obliges. She discusses how after the demons attacked, the Darklings arriving immediately after was too suspicious. Every action that the demons have taken has been one step ahead of theirs, and so a spy is suspected. Thus, they can't trust anyone with the Black Pearl besides themselves, and it was too dangerous to be in the presence of an unknown enemy. As for their plan, they intend to use all of the power in their white Emelas wings to drain the essence from the pearl, causing it to become powerless, allowing demons to be conjured from it no longer. However, this will cause the goddesses to fall into a deep slumber, likely until the pearl regains essence in some form. Fina insists that this is the only way, and why Rhea did not want to be the one to tell Toll this. Suddenly a bolt of clarity hits Toll. He breaks out laughing. He had assumed so much worse would be needed to seal the essence, and now understands what he needs to do. Fina asks Toll to be empathetic to her sister, and Toll thanks Fina before leaving. On his way out, Epona tells Toll that she knows for sure Hugo is his brother, and he doesn't deny it anymore. But Toll assures her that it doesn't affect his alliances. While she tries to hide it, it seems Epona is starting to grow a bit of a crush on the young Hugo Fact. Further up, the legendary beast of the sands, Konsklard, is fought and defeated by Toll. After the battle, Hugo arrives and approaches Toll. Hugo has come not to fight, but to ask a question to his brother. How did Toll get so strong? Toll starts going on a tangent about how he values Hugo's stronger magic abilities, and it's why he gave the air of priesthood to him, but eventually reveals that this power and his path with the Darklings just seemed natural for him at the time. Hugo is able to put the pieces together. It's the demonic essence that he has absorbed with his new faction that is granting him such power, as he accepts this answer. They leave on less hostile terms. Toll promises that when Hugo is ready, come and find him for their battle. As Toll leaves, however, Dallas makes his presence known to Hugo, and they both describe the mutual interest that they have in one another. But Hugo is ready to battle and end this right here at this point in the tower. But Dallas has other intentions. He describes the immeasurable power that he and the Darklings have, and would like to offer the power to Hugo as well. Hugo is insulted that Dallas would even consider that Hugo would betray Ys like his brother, just for a surge of power. But Dallas is cunning, proposing that magic and demons are simply two sides of an eternal coin, and that wielding both is no more good or evil than wielding just one. Why can't demonic force be used to better people's lives, like magic does? The goddesses have deceived Ys into thinking that it's as simple as the demons are evil, magic is good, cut and dry. And Dallas has been watching the sorcerer. He's got quite the talent for magic, and it's eating him up that his brother took a shortcut to achieve such power. It's only natural for Hugo to desire his full potential, be that as a human, or a human with something more. Hugo refuses to be deceived, so Dallas offers a test period, a small amount of essence to use and try out, to see just what this power can offer. After once again refusing this, Dallas provokes Hugo, saying that his brother was able to handle a small amount without losing his sanity. Is Hugo afraid that he doesn't have the will to do the same? This takes Hugo aback, and realizes with this power he might be able to settle things with his brother. Eventually he accepts, and allows Dallas to cast the spell onto Hugo, giving him the essence. However, this does not go as Hugo anticipates. By casting the spell, Dallas exerts more essence than promised, enough for Hugo to completely lose his own will, and renders himself vulnerable. He now has immeasurable demonic power, and is under complete control by the Darklings. A new weapon, stronger than Toll could hope to be. Toll enters the final third of the tower, and the most demonically entwined, the Blighted Blood and the demonic core. The Blighted Blood is filled with devilish creatures and gnarled, twisted caverns. Near the top of this region, Toll runs into Epona again. He is surprised that she isn't still on guard duty at the annex. Apparently, Zava had told her to leave, as forces of the Ys search party were approaching, and she would try to fend them off herself. Her efforts were ineffective, and they retreated from the annex. They figured Rado's annex was unessential now for the Darklings' plans. And besides, the search party will have a hard time breaking the demonic Devil's Gaze door to find the goddess trapped inside. Further up the tower, another legendary demon is fought, Pictimos, the Grim-Manted. The toughest battle Toll has fought so far ends in a victory for the Clawed Warrior. After the battle, Rhea is waiting for Toll, just outside the arena. Rhea confirms that Toll knows of her and her sister's plan, and asks for the harmonica back. Rhea claims that, according to ancient Eldeen lore, the tones of a clarion instrument can release the full power of their wings, and the echo can weaken demonic essence. Toll is a bit hurt. He gave this instrument as a gift, and doesn't like hearing that its only purpose is for practicality. He forever cherishes the memory of Rhea's face when he gave this to her all that time ago, and if it's nothing more than a tool now, he'd prefer to keep it. Rhea lectures Toll, saying that he can't understand the grief that they have gone through and knowing what they will do. That's why Toll assures her that no one will be sacrificed. He wants everyone to live on Ys after all this is over. He believes this is possible with the strength of everyone involved. However, just as they are reconciling, Dales, along with Zava, and a now controlled Hugo, arrive on the scene. With Hugo's new demonic power, he effortlessly takes out Toll. Dales says that Hugo has been given a piece of demonic essence as compensation for Toll's betrayal against the Darklings, though Dales had a feeling Toll was never truly on their side. Toll turns demon, but Hugo's talent combined with the demon's power is just too strong for the warrior. Toll curses Dales as he takes Rhea, the Pearl, and Hugo away to the top of the tower. After they are gone, the High Priest Xion arrives. Xion heals Toll and tells him not to worry. They were able to break through the Devil's Gaze door and see Fina, who gave them the essential summary of Toll's story and urges him to continue up the tower. Xion presents Toll a Lila shell, an artifact that will allow Toll to stay in contact with Xion from far away, but only if Toll accepts being a part of Ys again. He gladly does, and bids his old friend farewell. Xion wishes him luck and returns to Rado's annex. Finally, the demonic core, the final floors of the Devil's Tower. Here Toll faces Kishkarl, who has been waiting for him ever since he had heard of Toll's formal betrayal. Less driven by vengeance, Kishkarl simply wants a worthy opponent, and he believes he's found one in Toll and requests a duel. He says he didn't quite receive what he wanted with Saul Tova, who was weakened through his prior fighting of countless demons. But fatigue means nothing to one with demonic essence, as Kishkarl embraces his demon power. Toll must do the same if he is to stand against the powerful warrior, a wielder of ice magic and a demonic halberd. Kishkarl truly is a warrior to be feared. It's a tough battle, but Toll is able to bring Kishkarl to the ground, long enough for him to grab a divining rod that will allow Toll to access Zava's domain, one of the final areas before the peak of the tower. After taking his prize, suddenly the ground shakes, the floor rumbles, and the tower becomes enveloped in runes and a mystical aura. Sigils cast out from the tower's summit begin to conjure a field around the Shrine of Solomon in the sky, and tendrils begin to reach out from the tower. These arms spread to the heavens and surround the now trapped Ys in the sky, and with a devastating force, the arms begin to pull, attempting to forcefully return Ys to the surface. Dales' final ritual has begun, and there was no time to waste. Kishkarl would not be so quick to allow Toll to continue, however. Toll is surprised by Kishkarl's quick recovery, but the warrior reveals that with the ritual begun, the demonic essence is close to being set free completely, and Kishkarl, part demon, is almost invincible. Kishkarl tries to convince Toll to do the same and give in to the demon inside him. He refuses and chooses to keep his humanity. Kishkarl laughs as if Toll has already accepted his death. Suddenly, retaliation. With the blade of her father, Unica arrives with a fiery strike of the Crimson Lotus Blade. Ramona, Cecilia, and Roy all arrive as well. They'll handle Kishkarl. Toll needs to make his way up the tower. Besides, they were all subordinates of Sol, and everyone, especially Unica, has a score to settle with their commander's killer. Toll accepts the offer and wishes them luck as he leaves, the sound of clashing blades filling the room behind him. With the rod in his possession, Toll can access the Hall of Reflection, Zava's labyrinthine domain of mirrors and misguidance. Toll makes his way through the maze before arriving at the true reflection, where Zava is waiting. Zava is thrilled to finally be able to take care of Toll once and for all. Never a fan of how he has been slaying and absorbing her most powerful demons, it's time to teach him a lesson. Zava much prefers his brother, such a subservient counterpart, but still with a constant desire for power. Perfect for the Darklings. Hugo is already drunk with demonic essence. It's only a matter of time before he'll become one with the demons, body and soul. Toll says Zava should be more worried than anything else. With Hugo's raw power both individually and as a member of the Fact lineage, he could easily overtake Lord Dallas's power soon enough. Zava has heard enough, angered at the ridicule of her lord, and prepares for battle, summoning two monstrous head-like demons, Yoglex and Omulgun, to fight Toll. It's a 3-on-1, and Toll gives everything he has to challenge Dallas's second-in-command. The heads are slain at Toll's hand, and Zava is defeated. Only for a moment, though, before she pulls a similar trick to Kishkarl as she embraces the new well of demonic energy from the ritual and increases her power tenfold. She instantly summons a squad of demon knights and proclaims that she can make as many as she desires. Toll readies himself, but suddenly a wave of fireballs dazes the squadron, and Commander Galleon arrives to finish them off. The fireballs came from Cadena, who also arrives on the scene, taunting Zava. The two ensure Toll that they can handle Zava and her forces. Toll needs to go forth to the top of the tower to stop this ritual. The Clawed One agrees, thanks them, and dodges some of Zava's attacks, and bursts through the back mirror, revealing stairs for him to continue. The final stretch to the summit is filled with the last line of defense of the demons, and Toll is as ready as he will ever be to face them. Finally, the last arena before the summit, Toll arrives to see a corrupted Hugo strangling Epona. Epona tries to reason with the sorcerer, but he's too far gone at this point. Toll calls out to Hugo, telling him to stop, and encourages him to fight his brother instead, as he promised to earlier. Hugo tosses aside Epona and prepares to uphold his promise. Hugo sports a devilish grin as the two brothers begin their final duel, a match between Hugo's magic talent and Toll's warrior speed and skill, both enhanced by demonic essence. A legendary fight to shape the course of the Fact lineage and all of Ys. Toll is able to weaken Hugo, and tries to get him to return to his senses. It's straining, but eventually, Hugo is able to regain his sanity. They engage in some sibling banter, and reaffirm their motivations and desire to see this through to the end, protecting what they care about. Hugo will stay behind and recover and look after Epona. He owes her that much. Epona had not been enhanced by much demonic essence, and has only received negligible effects from the ritual's boost. Before leaving, Hugo gives Toll a goddess ring. Dallas told Hugo to take it from Lady Rhea, and if he doesn't want her to have it, it might be useful. Hugo warps Epona and himself to the base of the tower, promising to be right behind Toll before long. Just some simple stairways separate Toll from the summit now. He makes his final ascension around the spiraling staircases before arriving outside the peak of the Tower of Demons. There he sees the awesome power of the ritual that has been cast out from the spire, the sigils and tendrils outstretched, tugging at the Shrine of Solomon's foundation to return it to the surface. There Dallas is waiting with the Black Pearl, along with a trapped Rhea. Rhea is weak, her powers being siphoned to aid in the ritual at hand. Fighting him is pointless, Dallas claims. With the power surrounding the ritual, his demonic body will become invincible, surpassing even the divine beings. Toll isn't fooled. It's not over yet. Much of the Black Pearl's power is still being used to keep Ys afloat. While the shrine is still in the skies, Dallas can't obtain all of the Pearl's power. Seeing as his time is limited before the ritual pulls Ys back down, Toll reaffirms his goal of destroying the pearl in its entirety and attacks Dallas, but a barrier stops him. Dallas uses this opportunity to strike back, putting Toll down even in his demonic form. Suddenly, Rhea brings herself awake and tries to motivate her love, and tells him to use the ring. Dallas is startled that Toll has the artifact, and Rhea tells him that it contains a small piece of her power, and with it, Toll charges and breaks through Dallas's barrier. How irritating. It seems Dallas will need to put up a fight after all. Even without full strength, the pearl can still bestow the powers of a god to one such as Dallas. Absorbing the powers of the pearl turns Dallas into a deranged demonic entity, and Toll prepares to take him down. The two wage a fierce battle at the tower's summit. Dallas casts spells and barriers that require all techniques of all three Emelas forms to dispel, as Toll tries to counterattack. It's a fierce battle, and after multiple forms, including some demonic guardians that Dallas summons, Toll finally destroys the devilish monster, and Dallas returns to his original form. Dallas is disturbed by his loss, which Toll chalks up to the Darkling leader's inexperience. Toll knows how to deal with and control the demonic essence within him, respect it, and make it his. Dallas's power overwhelmed him. Though the Darkling Lord will not allow the likes of the goddesses or humans to have the Pearl's power, however, he threatens to destroy the Pearl himself. He doesn't care if it destroys him. It will be the Darkling's power or no one's at all. Rhea and Toll plead with Dallas not to do this. It will destroy him and cause Ys to come crashing to the ground. Before he can continue, a voice is heard, one that disapproves of Dallas's sudden actions. Suddenly, a spear falls from the sky, skewering the casting Dallas. As a surprised Toll witnesses his father, Kane Fact, descend to the tower's summit to greet them. Kane greets Rhea, admitting that Rhea and Fina's sudden disappearance left him rather surprised and anxious. Rhea and Toll are also surprised, but understand what this means. The suspected traitor of Ys was the priest of Fact, Kane. Kane gives brief praise to Rhea for successfully harboring suspicions before addressing the currently bleeding out Dallas. Kane says that the Darklings were too inexperienced in their abilities, but applauds him and his subordinates on their efforts. Currently, the only thing keeping Dallas alive with the spear through his torso is the demonic essence that he has already absorbed. Once Kane removes it and Dallas is no more, Kane will gladly give new life to Dallas as a subservient demon slave with more power than ever before. Dallas curses Kane as he feels his soul fade and body dissolve. He cries for help, but Rhea and Toll simply stand awestruck as the events unfold. The demonic essence from within Dallas manifests itself as an aura-filled orb hovering in its place. As Kane makes his way to absorb it himself, Toll finally regains his senses and leaps into action. Kane refuses to even acknowledge his son's presence. Kane has never stopped being disappointed in Toll, from his refusal to be the heir to the Fact name to his power now as a demon. Kane even reveals that the only reason he was kept alive by the Darklings was under orders by the priest, because he wanted to experiment with the demonic influence on a member of the Fact lineage, and Toll happened to be more convenient than Hugo at the time. Test subjects, Hugo and Toll, both of them. At least Hugo had some talent as a magic caster, but then he goes and loses in a duel to his brother. Failures, both of them in the eyes of their father. Toll's eyes fill with anger, but before he can act on it, Kane knocks his son back with a bolt of his own magic. The two are leagues apart in power. Toll tries another strike, but Kane has already erected another barrier. House Fact has plenty of magic in their toolkit, but their shield magic is potentially their most infamous. Not even the power of the goddess Ring could break it. Kane reactivates the barrier around Rhea and absorbs the demonic essence. Bringing Solomon Shrine back to the ground is far too much effort. Kane believes he will just destroy it instead, to free the Black Pearl's remaining power for him to absorb. Toll tries everything he has, but nothing comes close to piercing the barrier. As if on cue, though, some much-needed reinforcements arrive. Fina appears, and Rhea is relieved to see her. Kane assures her that she is too late, but Fina disagrees. She gives a gift to Toll, his Claria sword that was destroyed in his battles on the surface. Thanks to the mending magic of Rico Gemma, they were able to repair the sword from the pieces recovered by the goddesses when they arrived on the surface. It's been imbued with the strength of the entire search party, including Fina. Since Claria can amplify magic, it should be strong enough to break through any barrier. Kane realizes this as well, and tries to strike back to no avail. Kane pleads with his son to stop. It's within the Fact bloodline to desire power. He should understand why Kane is doing this. The power to move beyond humanity, beyond divinity. Toll disagrees. He seeks power, not for power's sake, but as a tool to help his friends and bring about a better future to Ys. And with this power, a searing slash is cast from the sword, dispelling Kane's barrier. Fine. If it's a fight he wants, it's a fight he'll get. Kane refuses to hold back. Why simply use the demonic essence when he can become one with it? He makes his move to fuse himself with the Black Pearl and become the ultimate demon god, the supreme being fit for the Fact lineage. He succeeds, and the Pearl and Kane become one, the birth of that which transcends all. Darm. The final battle has begun. A battle within the Pearl's essence. Darm versus Toll. Darm uses every ability at his disposal. Tendrils, dark voids, electric fields, along with necrotic physical attacks. It takes all of Toll's strength to stay on the flimsy arena and avoid Darm's onslaught, but he persists, dealing blows when he can, trusting in his innate abilities and the demonic power that he has made his own. Through the power of the goddesses, as well as the family and friends that he cares dearly for, he pushes through, laying the finishing blow on his now corrupted and twisted demonic father. Darm calls out, shocked that he could possibly lose. Toll assures Darm his greatest failing was his complete and utter disdain for humanity. We all have the power to shape our own fate, and Toll chooses to have his fate be to stop his father, right here, right now. With one final sword strike, Darm's essence is defeated and retreats within the Pearl. But Darm retorts. His form is now immortal. If the Pearl exists, so will he, reborn once again, one day. Toll returns to the tower's summit and collapses in exhaustion. While down, Rhea finally takes the harmonica back from Toll, and he realizes what she plans to do. Toll begs them to stop, but is too fatigued to even stand. The ritual is too far along, and the goddesses know they need to stop it before the shrine plummets. Darm was right. He and the demonic essence are one and the same, and someday it may awaken once more. As such, the pearl cannot be placed in human hands. It must be entombed deep within the earth, and the goddesses will lie, slumbering with the pearl, suppressing its power to prevent Darm's escape. They ask Toll to relay a message to Ys, thanking them for everything and blessing their lives forevermore. Rhea apologizes to Toll, saying how she was the happiest she has ever been when Toll told her how he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, and she's sorry that she can't fulfill that dream, but wants him to know that, because of Toll, she will have nothing but wonderful dreams during her slumber. Rhea plays her harmonica while Fina prays, and Toll cries out in anguish, his legs refusing to move. The ritual is stopped. The tendrils and the field around the floating island shatter, and the Shrine of Solomon once again rises into the sky, returning to its spot in the heavens. As the air around the whole island and tower settles, Toll sees the result of the goddess's actions. The goddesses now slumber, petrified while cradling the pearl to suppress its magic. Toll lies stunned as the demonic fragments leave his body, returning his hair to its original blonde hue. The entire search party arrives not long after. Hugo asks for an explanation as a distraught Unica clutches Toll, demanding the same. Toll relays the events, including the goddess's final message, but also adds his belief that someday they will meet again, and asks to keep the goddesses in their hearts so they don't get lonely. Unica agrees, but can't stop herself from crying into Toll's chest after losing her best friends. Toll bids farewell to the goddesses, swearing to one day destroy the demonic essence once and for all. The party makes efforts to move the goddesses in the Pearl deep underground so that they may sleep in peace. Similar to Dales, Zava and Kishkarl were so entwined with demonic fragments that they perished when Darm absorbed the Pearl and were sealed away. Likely he has plans to one day use their souls as demon slaves as well if he breaks free. Epona is able to survive thanks to her lack of much demonic essence and leaves to return to her home to report on what has happened, and hopes that she will be accepted as a Darkling with no intent to commit more hostile actions. Epona says that she will return, and Hugo, while shy about his own crush towards Epona, hopes that she stays true to her word. The party makes preparations for a teleportation spell for their return trip to Solomon Shrine, but not everyone. A few members of the search party want to stay behind on the surface, to keep watch on the lands below, destroy the remaining demons, and pass on the legacy of Ys to the surface world. There aren't any harsh objections, but the rest of the party wants them to be sure in their decision, as this might be the only chance they get to return to the skies. They are sure, and in the end, Hugo Fact, Unica Tova, Rico Gemma, Musha, and Roy decide to stay behind on the surface. Hugo asks Toll if he wants to stay behind as well, to watch over the goddesses. Toll declines, and says if Hugo is staying, someone has to inherit their father's position, and Hugo is set on dealing with the matters of the surface world. Toll plans on making a record of everything that occurred during this whole adventure once he returns to the shrine. They all say their goodbyes, and Toll gives his regards to the Rhoda tree and asks Sin to keep an eye on the youths, staying on the surface. With the transportation complete, the party sets off to the skies, as the remaining members stay motivated on rebuilding a new home on their island nation, to create a land fitting for the legacy of Ys. In the coming years, Toll keeps his promises as Priest Fact, gathering the other priests to create 6 books, one for each priest, that details the history of Ys and the events that took place on the surface that day. They are given a portion of the priest's magic and are sent to the surface via a teleportation spell. These books of Ys are kept safe in a vault underneath the Devil's Tower, to be used if the essence of the Pearl and the goddesses were to reawaken, thus requiring a new hero to free Ys once again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the next part in our Ys journey, and I hope you look forward to the next part coming soon. Definitely going to want to take a little bit of a break after making this video, but I hope to have part 3 out within probably a little more than a month or so. Once again, thank you so much to Digital Emelas and their support and help for this video and for the whole series. I highly encourage you to check out the site if you're an Ys fan or if you're looking to get into the series. As you can see in video, the footage used was recorded by Kareev 20000 from worldoflongplays.com, As you could have guessed, this part of the Ys chronology mainly covered the events of Ys Origin, which is available on a ton of platforms at the moment. Windows, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch all have versions of Ys Origin available for download now. Play it, it's one of my favorite Ys games and one of my favorite games, period. Now, with this video wrapped up, I think I'm gonna finally play Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. This was Krimick. See you guys next time.